I have experimented with so many different structures for my online catalog and tried every shortcut under the sun. And when I first set up my online catalog, I went the super minimalist route. I had 4 products, 3 different sizes, but I noticed that my average order value always stuck between $60 and $80. So I thought, clearly, I need way more options. So then I swung the pendulum in the other direction, and I had like 45 different products in my online catalog, trying to cover off every format, every price point. And the interesting thing was that my average order value stayed about the same. Turns out both approaches were wrong. And now I have landed on the sweet spot. And last month, my average order value was $208. Now, before you go telling yourself that this has something to do with special unicorn skills, or it's based on luck, or your area is different, or your customers are different, I want you to stick with me. Because the truth is, most florists are setting up their online catalogs completely backwards. And here's the thing, it's not your fault. We've all been taught that more options equals more sales. Or that idea that minimalist is what's going to help you build $1 million business. And neither is true. So I'm going to break it down for you, and I'm going to show you exactly what's working right now. And let me paint a picture on how most florists set up their catalogs, because this was absolutely what I thought I needed to be doing. And you open your online catalog, and there are dozens of different options. Maybe you've got 30, 40, 50. Maybe you've got so many that you've never even bothered to count. And you've got something for every budget. A little $30 something, a little $60 something, a couple of designs over 100. And you've tried to get cute with how you name your sizes, and you give your clients lots of options in terms of customizability. And you also probably have the perennial florist favorite called designer's choice. And the thinking behind this makes total sense. You want to give your customers options. You don't want to exclude anyone. You're just trying to be helpful. And if you're anything like me, then if you went to flower school, if you've worked in anybody else's business, then that thought of the customer is always right is ingrained in your brain. And our industry teaches us that it's our job, if we want to be good florists, that we need to be able to cater to every single customer under the sun, that the design aesthetic is dictated by the customer, and that the customer is the one that tells us what to include in the bouquets. But I'll just say, take it from me, personal experience, that strategy leaves you totally heartbroken, feeling incredibly resentful, questioning why you started your business in the first place because you don't like the work you're creating and you're not making enough money. But alas, we'll talk about that at a later date. Here's what's actually happening from a customer's perspective. First, you're overwhelming them. When somebody lands on your website and starts shopping for a bouquet and you give them 40 or 50 options, they don't think, wow, so many beautiful choices. They think, where do I even begin? And for those of you that are super into buyer psychology, there are so many studies done on decision-making that shows that too many choices leads to decision paralysis. If you're lucky in that instance, your customers will simply choose the cheapest option, or they'll leave entirely and you just lose out on the sale. The second thing that this approach does, and this was so absolutely my experience, you're anchoring your prices too low. If your catalog shows designs from $30 all the way up to $200, guess which one becomes the reference point in your customer's mind? The $30 option. And in comparison, $150 or $160 design just doesn't feel worth the investment. In your customer's minds, it feels too expensive for them to buy. And the third thing that old way of approaching an online catalog backfires for us, and this is a big one, but that catch-all, that product that you've set up called designer's choice, actually trains your customers to devalue and undervalue your expertise. And this feels really counterintuitive, but in your customer's mind, when you offer designer's choice, particularly when you have it alongside of a dozen other options in your catalog, what you're actually communicating to your customers is something like, I don't really know what you want, but hopefully this will make you happy. Instead of positioning you as the expert, it gives your customers more control. And the result of all of that is that you will just end up with more $65, $85 designs. Yes, you're going to be getting orders, but they might not be profitable. You might not be proud of the work that you're creating. And at the end of the month, your numbers just don't add up. A little while ago, I came up with a brand new structure for my online catalog, and I stripped it right back. Instead of 40 designs or more, now I have 15 products in my catalog. Each one of those has 3 sizes for customers to choose from. And one of the things that made the biggest change is I actually got rid of our designer's choice selection. Now, I know you're thinking, but Kathleen, aren't I going to lose out on sales? Aren't I going to lose out on customers if I'm not catering to every client under the sun and offering a traditional catalog? What if they don't want to spend that much? What if my area is different? What if my customers only want the budget options? And I had the exact same hesitations. I was genuinely nervous about making these updates, thinking it might not work. But here's what actually happens. A few years ago, my average order value was $75, $80. As of last month, my average order value is $208. This is not from weddings. This is not from funerals. This is not from anything special other than people wanting to send flowers for get well soon, sympathy, celebration, new baby, birthday, or an anniversary. And the best part is this area is so incredibly saturated. Like in the grand scheme of floral history here, I am the newbie. But because I understand buyer psychology, because my marketing plan is so on point, the sales are coming in so consistently and they are so profitable. I tell you what, it is such a fun business to run. So let me break down for you the 3 specific changes I made and the principles behind each one. Number 1, I got super intentional with the products I was going to create in my catalog. I truly ditched the whole idea of like a dozen roses or one product en masse and said, you know what, I'm going to take complete creative control over what we're designing. And instead of trying to have something to appeal to everyone, I decided to showcase only the work I actually want to be creating. Designs that use the flowers that I can get access to easily, and arrangements at price points that just make sense for the profitability of my business. So it meant actually completely eliminating all of the cheap products in our online catalog. And the entry point now sits closer to $120, $140. And then I built it up from there. And yeah, it feels scary. But in hindsight, here's one of the greatest aha moments I had. Those people spending $60, $65, they were never going to become $150 customers. They're price shopping and they're very price sensitive. And that's okay. If your goal is to be a high profit premium florist, I want to give you permission to let go of those customers. No doubt there are going to be other florists in your area and also the relay services and wire networks that will be happy to cater to that clientele. So just say thank you to the universe for not having to worry about it anymore, and then you're going to focus on the future. Number 2, I rewrote all of my product descriptions. This is totally one of those things that I completely overlooked in the past. But once I sat down and rewrote them, I realized, holy crap, this is a thing. You guys need to know about this. So here's an example of what my old product descriptions used to be. This design is a perfect collection of pink flowers presented in a cute vase. We'll use the best flowers of the season. This arrangement comes with its own container, which means the recipient doesn't need to worry about supplying their own vase. Yes, very short, very matter of fact, very to the point. Now, here's an example of how comprehensive my product descriptions are right now. Soft, textured, unapologetically beautiful. This design is a dreamy blend of lemon cream and blush pink, a refined, joyful bouquet that feels like sunshine and sherbet in floral form. With its layered textures and delicate tones, it's the perfect design for birthdays, new beginnings, or simply brightening someone's day. This seasonal design features premium Colombian roses, pale pink spray roses, lithianthus and fragrant stock, French dianthus, delicate gypsophilia, locally grown dusty mallow for softness and texture. Presentation: hand-wrapped in our signature textured paper and tied with satin ribbon, add a vase at checkout for an elevated presentation. Card message included. Every bouquet includes a custom card message. Simply write your note at checkout and we'll take care of the rest. Please note, flowers are subject to seasonal availability. If needed, our designers will substitute the blooms of similar shape, style, and color to maintain the integrity of the design. standard size shown, vase sold separately. There's a massive difference between the way I used to write my product descriptions and what they look like today. The first one is super vague, and it doesn't actually add anything to the product listing. It doesn't do anything to demonstrate your expertise or provide peace of mind for your customer. And the second one does all that and more. And the perspective shift here that's really helpful is knowing that you're not just selling flowers. You're selling the experience, you're selling convenience, you're selling quality, you're selling customer service, the emotion, the moment, the fact that you're going to deliver it on a very specific day for a very specific occasion. And using your product descriptions to educate and empower your customers, helping them understand what it is that you're selling and how it works, they're far more willing to pay for it. And number 3, and this was the one that I had the most hesitation about, but I removed the designer's choice option altogether. I also got rid of all of the upsell options so that the checkout experience could be super simple. And this has had the biggest impact in terms of the average order value that's coming through our website. And again, this one feels so counterintuitive. And the aha moment for me was recognizing that even on our best days, if we have all of the flowers that we could ever possibly imagine, even every week of the year, every design that you create is by definition designer's choice. And this really landed for me when I realized, okay, so even if somebody orders 2 dozen red roses, the specific variety of red rose that you have in stock at that moment is going to be different from next week to 2 weeks from now. The filler ingredients and the foliages that you have are probably also going to be different. So it can feel super subtle. But all of a sudden I realized, I was like, no, wait a minute. Like, even if today I make a beautiful design and it includes specific ingredients, even if I had those exact same ingredients 2 weeks from now, because of the nature and the shape of flowers and the foliages and seasonal availability, it's going to look slightly different. Once I realized that, I was like, okay, this changes everything. And this is as much a strategic shift as it is a creative shift. Particularly if you went to flower school, if you're used to creating cookie cutter designs, this one's going to feel uncomfortable, but I promise you it works. Another example that you might find really helpful is if we went to a restaurant and on the menu, the chef had put something like chef's selection, and it says something vague like, we'll pull together the best of the season's ingredients and present something amazing to you. But there's no context, whether it's going to be a sandwich, soup, salad, dessert, entree, main, vegan, not vegan, like zero context. It's like, I don't know. I mean, yes, absolutely. There are some restaurants on the planet that can do that. However, when you're catering to more of a mainstream audience, which is what most florists are also doing, we need to be able to help bridge the gap and give our customers some clarity. So in that same restaurant, if they sold something like a seafood chowder, at least now you have some context. Are you going to be super fussy in terms of exactly what seafood is included? This idea of giving your customers some guidance and some structure and some clarity in terms of what they're going to get will help you sell more designs. And the guiding principle there is that certainty sells. And particularly when you put yourself in your customer's shoes and you remember that they are overwhelmed. So they want your certainty, they want your expertise, they want you to take control of the conversation. The other super functional thing that we did, and this has been so helpful, is that we have completely eliminated all of the add-ons. So chocolates, balloons, teddies, candles, everything has been hidden, especially things like upgrade to a premium vase. It's like your customers don't want to be inundated by more choice. Because every add-on option that you give your customer is another decision point, another moment of friction, another way for your customers to second guess their decision, all of which means those are opportunities for you to lose the sale. So now the only choice that we give our customers is, do you want a cut flower bouquet or do you want a vase arrangement? And which of these 3 sizes would you like? That's it. And everything else is my call as the designer. And what this does, like psychologically for your business, it positions you as the expert. You're no longer just reacting to what your customers want. You're no longer having to order every single flower under the sun to cater to every single customer possibility. But instead, you're embodying expert energy, positioning yourself as the authority, And customers that want that level of expertise and attention to detail are willing to pay for it. At the end of the day, when it comes to making money as a florist, here's what I want you to know. The problem isn't your market. It's not your design skills. And it's definitely not your level of experience, qualifications, credentials, or years in business. The problem is that we have been taught the wrong way to market our business, and nobody's talking about how to actually make money as a florist. And ultimately, when you try to set up your business to cater to every customer under the sun, you end up attracting customers who only care about price. When you overwhelm your customers with too many choices, if you're lucky, they will still buy from you, but they will always buy the cheapest solution. And if you have that designer's choice option, you train your customers to devalue your expertise. And remember, the florists that are regularly waking up to $150, $200, $250 online orders, it's not that they're in a better market. They're not more talented designers. It's not about them having won more awards or having been in business longer or having a cuter shop front. And realistically, they probably have less Instagram followers than most. They just know how to set up their online catalog to attract and convert high profit orders. And now you know exactly how to do the same thing. And if you want to dive deeper into the psychology of attracting those high paying clients and actually charging what you're worth, I have another video that walks you through my complete framework. It's called How to Sell Big Budget Designs. So jump into that video next, go in and audit your catalog. You're going to blow your mind with how a few quick updates to how you structure your offer is going to help you get more orders, increase your average order value, and have complete control over the designs that you get to create. And as always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.